What is up, YouTube? We are here for episode 2 of the Xbox Super Show. Hashtag insert air horns. Alright guys, so as I left you in the last episode, we were talking about part 1 of my original Xbox collection, leading up to the first 100 games I owned for the collection.
Mr. Burgundy, you have a massive erection.
Really? Yes, I do.
We went through the first, I believe it was A, or the numbers through G. We left off with gun, I think was the last one, so we're going to continue on there with H. So, once again, this is just a quick little pull the game out, show you the game, talk a little bit about it if I have anything to say about it. Watch this. And then just move on, because we want to get through to this. We got 4 episodes to do as a collection. I'm trying to do 25 a piece, and then from then on we're going to work on doing some just exclusive content, talking about original Xbox games that no one really talks about anymore, and then just talking about this system more, because everybody's always talking about the 360, they're talking about the Xbox One, they're talking about the PlayStation and stuff like that, but no one ever really talks about the original Xbox and how such a powerhouse machine it was when it came, and the love that it got, that was, I just feel like it was overshadowed. So alright guys, we're going to jump right into this with a game that everybody talked about how good it was, and I've never actually gotten around to playing it yet, which will change sooner or later. I'm just constantly busy, but we have a copy of Half-Life 2. Once again, I have not played it. Everybody talks so highly of it. The next one is the flagship game for the system, one of the most famous franchises that came out of Xbox. We'll just go through these because everybody knows about this one. We have a copy of Halo, the Platinum Hits one. I hope to get the original one. Now I'll just talk a little bit about this. This was one of the original, the first Xbox game I ever played was Halo Combat Evolved. I remember getting the Xbox the Christmas that it came out, getting a copy of this, and I remember getting home late at night from my grandma's house. It must have been like 10:30, 11, and playing through the first level before I moved, or before we went the next day on Christmas Day to my my other grandma's house. And I just remember bringing this in, me and my cousins playing it, and just absolutely insane. Loved it. And then we have a limited edition collector's copy of Halo 2. Once again, very great game. I don't think the Halos really started getting bad until after Reach, because then that's when I just think they lost their way. I haven't played any of the new ones or anything like that, but like even ODST and stuff like that was alright. But after Reach, I just think they kind of went downhill. But Halo 2 is another one. We played the crap out of that. Shotguns and swords, everything, multiplayer, and just regularly playing it. Alright, going on, we have, oh, here's another one. God, I keep getting in the bad light. Hitman. This one I think is Contracts. I don't know if this is the first one or not, but I remember originally playing the first one and loving it. It was something different. You can, you know, any different way that you could beat the mission. You didn't have to do one certain way. You could do many different ways. You could just run in guns blazing or be very sneaky. And we'll talk too about the same with this one is Hitman Blood Money 2. Same stuff, you know. I mean, that's what I loved about this game is disguises, setting stuff up so when people use it they get fried, or you know stuff like that. Just different ways to kill the people in unique, possible, fun ways. Now this is one of the ones I'm going to talk just a little bit more about. I've been wanting to go through a playthrough of it again, but it was one of the few RPGs that the original Xbox had, and we have Jade Empire. Very unique, obviously Eastern focused martial arts style RPG that was just crazy. You know, you hadn't seen it. I remember playing through this. The story was amazing, the characters were amazing, and the fighting style, like I said, an RPG it was something different. I really want to go through it again. I'm hoping someday maybe we get a remaster copy or something, because that is definitely one game that I will talk about in the future, and an exclusive, because it was only on the Xbox. But I definitely will talk about that. We're just going to kind of go through the sports games. We got Knockout Kings 2002. It's a boxing game. Let's see. Now we're going into the Legacy of Kain series. We have Blood Omen 2. Now I didn't play any of the modern Legacy of Kain games. I did play them on the original PlayStation a little bit. Like I think Blood Omen with the Kain, and then the one with Raziel. But we have Blood Omen 2, and then we have Legacy of Kain Defiance. Once again, I don't know too much about them, but as you can see there, we have Raziel and yeah, Kain. Going on next, we're going to go through to the Lord of the Rings series. So I had the Fellowship of the Ring. I never played through that one, but I know me and my buddy on the original PS2, we played through the Two Towers, and then we also played through Return of the King. Very great games. I love the style of it. It was a very simple walkthrough, slashing, killing anything that moves kind of stuff. Plus the boss fights themselves were pretty fun to do. Something unique. I remember on, maybe it was on the Fellowship or when we fought the trolls and stuff like that, but I remember the Helm's Deep one on Two Towers. We played the heck out of that one. And then lastly on the third, or lastly on the Lord of the Rings ones, was one that I never saw coming. It wasn't only on the Xbox, it was on the other ones, but we have Lord of the Rings The Third Age, where you play as some of the background characters in a more turn-based RPG style like Final Fantasy, which was really unique for the Xbox because they really didn't have that kind of games going for it at the time. I know it was made by EA, which was another surprise because EA really wasn't doing much for RPGs themselves. And then, so this was a very fun game. Like I said, you played like side characters that no one really talked about too much, and you were just in the background doing all the other stuff while the main characters were off in the story. You did run into the main characters. I know one time, one of my favorite things in this fight was when you fought the Balrog, and or a copy of the Balrog. I can't remember exactly what it was, but you had Gandalf in the squad too, so that was really cool. And you ran into main characters along the way that would hop into your party for a bit, and of course they were very overpowered, and it was just fun to see them. Going on, we just got a couple copies of Madden. So I mean, nothing too much to talk about. The game's pretty much the same from 06 all the way to nowadays. Let's see here. Next we have, oh, okay. So this was another surprise fun game. I remember running this from actually a movie gallery or something, but I don't think I have the second Ultimate Alliance 2. But another like Dungeons and Dragons style RPG that popped into here with where you can play as superheroes, and if you put certain superheroes together, you got certain perks and bonuses. Like I think if you use like the original X-Men team, you got bonuses, or like Fantastic Four and stuff like that. Which I don't think. Oh yeah, Fantastic Four was in this one, but it was just a fun game. It's something different. You faced a bunch of, you know, famous villains and stuff like that. And I can't remember. I don't know if it was on X-Men Legends or something like that, but you face like off against Doom and everybody. It's really sweet. Now going on to the next guns. So I remember back in the 90s and 2000s and stuff, mechs were huge, Gundam, everything like that. So when Mech Assault came out, it was a very fun game to do. And at that time, the only really games that we had doing stuff like this was like, I'm trying to think of the name of it, Armored Core, which was a fun game where you were just designed your own robots and then went around and just basically shot everything that moved. Like, you know, we're still talking about some of the old school games, and that was what. Oop, I dropped something. And that was a big thing with the Xbox, was they didn't have the RPG style ones. They just had a lot of these action games. And then we also had the limited edition Mech Assault 2 Lone Wolf. I never played this one. I did play the first Mech Assault, but I never got around to playing this one. I'm guessing it's a similar style, obviously. Alright, so a lot of kids nowadays will not know this series, but Medal of Honor was kind of... So Call of Duty originally came out more on the PC gamers. And we got games like Medal of Honor and some other ones here and there, which was very popular at the time. I cannot remember the last Medal of Honor game, but I remember I had a friend that always got these games right when they came out. And they were kind of just a fun little shooter game that was different than the arcade styles. They were a little bit, obviously unrealistic and stuff like that. Not any kind of simulation shooters or nothing like that. But they were kind of just a fun little arcade shooter. And obviously just seeing, you know, some of the history played out, some of the war battles that was in there is something different. This was a really fun game. Mercenaries Playground of Destruction. God, this was a very surprise fun game. You could blow up pretty much anything. You can call in airstrikes. You could... It's just insane to see. You guys got to check it out. I know it wasn't only on Xbox, and they actually, I think, had either 2 or 3 of the games in the series. This is just the first one. Moving on to Midway Arcade Treasures. I don't know much about this. It's just a compilation one with old school arcade favorites like Spy Hunter, Gauntlet, Joust, Paperboy, Rampage, you know, Blaster, Road Blasters, yeah, 720. It's just Midway games on a compilation thing, which is always fun to have, especially if you feel like going back and playing some old school retro games. Going onwards, we have, let's see, I think my buddy had this one on the PlayStation 2, but we got Minority Report, Everybody Runs, based on the popular Tom Cruise movie. It wasn't a bad game per se, but I don't remember it being too out of the ordinary good. And then these last 2 games I'm going to talk about is actually would be 25, 26 if you're counting, but they're the same game, it's just whatever. But we have Elder Scrolls Morrowind and Morrowind Game of the Year Edition, which was Platinum. This came with all the DLCs and stuff. Quite frankly, one of the best games on the Xbox. It doesn't say it on here, but it was, I think, an Xbox exclusive for the time being when it came out. I believe it was maybe also on PC. But this was, quite frankly, I put so many hours into this game. This is probably my favorite original Xbox game. One of them, definitely. It went on to, you know, become the very popular Oblivion, and then the even more popular joke of a thing, Skyrim, where Todd Howard just releases it on every new console that comes out. It's almost as bad as Grand Theft Auto nowadays. But this is what started it all. Very unique. I remember creating spells and stuff like that, and then also having, they took the ability away, but it was a cool one to have, was levitation and stuff like that. And I remember us doing stupid little glitches and messing with our friends' characters by taking everything in their inventory and just piling it, you know, like 20,000 stories in the sky. And then the story in this was amazing. It didn't hold your hand for nothing. It told you to go talk to a guy, and that was it. It didn't really tell you where he was, nothing like that. You just went out in the world and exploring, and it had the biggest open world there was. And there was stuff like, if you would accidentally kill a character that was involved in a main story, you were done. You were done with that main story. You either had to go back to a previous save or start over. And you would know this because in the title and subtitles below, it would say, you know, that you altered the story by killing a main character, so you were done for. So it was something fun. Alright guys, there we go. There is part 2, episode 2 of the Xbox Super Show. I hope you guys enjoy this one. Please comment below, out of these games, which was your favorite, which ones you're excited to see, and just thanks for watching, guys. We've been having a lot of fun with this, and it's just so cool to see you guys enjoying this as much as I enjoy making it. And we will keep this Xbox rolling. Boxes don't roll. Have a good day.